Hi, everyone. Welcome back to our podcast, No More Secrets. As always, I'm your aunt, Mary Albrecht.
And I'm your niece, Katie Albrecht. And we have our friend Travis here.
He's one of our people that helps produce this, and he's been on twice before.
You guys have probably, you've heard his voice. We've talked about him a bunch of times. I think he even popped in on Lisa's episode.
Yeah,
right?
like he's. Are you guys done yet?
Yep.
It was cute.
Yeah, that was Travis.
But he popped in remotely. But he's here in the flesh today.
And I thought he could add to the conversation.
And because he's
bit.
here helping us set up, or not helping us, let's get real, he did the setup. And but he's going to get the footage.
Our job is just to look pretty. I don't know.
Right.
I don't know what else I'm supposed to do, honestly.
And we don't even really have brains, right? We just look pretty.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Right.
How could you?
How could we have a brain and
How could
do
I think
a podcast
about it if I didn't have a brain? Yeah. It's a good point.
Good. I thought so. Anyway,
that was all just so Mary could compliment herself.
We were having so much fun before this that we're kind of like punchy because we were laughing and having fun, which is actually a good way to segue to our topic because we're going to talk about things that help build you up throughout the day and things that make your day joyful as opposed to the things that drag you down. And I kind of thought of the topic of all the little interchanges you have throughout your day that maybe were positive, and they, the mailman waving to you, or somebody that you see, like a cashier or whatever, you see on a regular basis, and you mess around with her, but you only see her, every other week or whatever, but somehow you've got this connection. And I thought that would be fun to talk about just happy interactions with people. It doesn't have to be people that are always in your life daily. But then Katie came up with a great kind of addendum to that, so we're actually going to start with your idea, Katie, because you read an article that...
Yeah, I can't exactly call it my idea because
you read an article.
This article, yes.
But you thought it would be good to talk about.
Well, yeah. I was reading something about the Packers, and there was this article about Lucas Patrick, who is a lineman on the Packers, saying he was talking about emotional bank accounts. And I was like, that's kind of cool. Like, I already kind of like where this is going.
Yeah.
And he was saying that it's, everyone has their own personal emotional bank account. And I think the reference of this was Rodgers or someone like yelling at him on the field. But he's like, his response was that, well, you guys don't see the deposits that he's putting in. So like building them up throughout the week. All you see is the withdrawals of like taking money out of your bank account and stuff.
Because basically what the article is that people can deposit or withdraw from your bank account.
Yeah, and then if you have too many withdrawals, just like any normal account or whatever, you're gonna get overdrafted and you're not gonna be doing well and you're gonna be upset at the person. But if you still have deposits from previous times in there, you're going to be okay with them.
So Aaron Rodgers builds up his team
right
most of the time, but then he gets frustrated on the field
on game day when they mess up, because that's what they're paid to do.
Right.
It makes sense that he would get frustrated or something.
And so people are like judging that, but what this guy Lucas Patrick is saying is that you don't see all the deposits Aaron Rodgers has made into our accounts. Yeah.
And I just think it kind of goes along with the little interactions, because I feel like that's building up our bank accounts with ourselves and then also with other people in regards to us, where we're always getting like built up, even if it's just like a little interaction.
So
or taken away if
you're being beaten down on a regular basis, you're getting sucked dry. Yeah.
You're not going to want to spend much money, or you know what I mean, like, or you're not going to want to spend much mental energy on this person because you're you're completely mentally broke, you know?
I really like the analogy of deposits and withdrawals, so that's a really neat
I
way
really
to
like
put
that
it.
too. And I was like, wow, this guy must read books or something in addition to playing football, you know?
Whoa, he can
Which is a
read?
rare occasion.
He must be reading some books, yeah.
Remember, didn't Aaron Rodgers talk about going to a book club?
Yeah, he's been doing a Aaron Rodgers book club, and the Barnes and Noble in Green Bay has been packed
Because I keep waiting to see him, hoping that he's going to go check out a
people
book.
probably haven't even read before, you know. But yeah, so
Football players read? Wow.
crazy, right?
Crazy.
Strange concept, but no, it was a really good analogy, and I
So we thought we would talk about
like the visual of it. Yeah,
the visual, yeah, and just maybe on a personal level, we could talk about the things in general that deposit into our emotional bank accounts, but also maybe special things that have happened, you know, not like the daily things like, you know, interactions with people you care about, that obviously, but sometimes there might be something unexpected, you know, somebody that just says, you know, hey, pretty girl, and you don't even know who that is.
Or a fun one is when you're in line at Starbucks and then you see, or you get up to the window and then someone's like already paid for your drink.
You've had that happen?
I've had that
What?
happen,
Really?
yeah. Yeah, I was like kind of...
What?
I was on the way to my serving job a couple years ago, and I was like waiting in line, and I was getting kind of pissed off because this line was taking so freaking long.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
And then I see the guy in front of me, and he was like staring at me. Probably, I thought it was because I looked ridiculous because I was like huffing and puffing.
He's foaming at the mouth. Yeah.
Yeah, he was watching me, and I was like, "Oh, this is embarrassing," but I don't care. I'm mad at you too, you know. And but then I get up to the window, and the guy had already like pulled away and stuff, and they told me the guy in front of you paid for your drink.
But didn't expect anything and left before even
Left
being
before I could
acknowledged.
acknowledge him. So it was
That's
clearly
really
just,
neat.
It was just
Yeah.
an act of kindness. There was no like reward for him except for knowing that he did it.
And that's another kind of branch of this topic.
I was like,
is,
I should have got something more expensive. I think I just had like a regular
That's what
coffee.
you think of.
Yeah, like I just had like a regular coffee or something. I was like, dang it, should have got the pumpkin splash, whatever, you know.
yeah. Okay. But yeah, another branch
fill my cup.
of this topic is random acts of kindness too, you know, and how people do things
Yeah.
like that. And it's like, wow, that was really nice. You know, there was no reason for him to do that because he wasn't expecting anything from it. That's a true gift, is when you give it freely and don't expect anything in return.
True. Yeah.
You know, so anyway, but Travis, I would like to ask you, how do you feel that you get your emotional bank account to a very strong, positive balance? Can you give examples of people in your life that do it regularly?
Or people that do it for you, yeah.
Yeah.
Like, that help you out.
Not yourself, because that's a different topic of how you fill up your own
Yeah.
emotional bank account, but other people that build you up, like us, when we say, you know, oh boy. No, I mean, when we say
That you're
how
our people.
No, how great you are, though. Really, how great! Like, we're so happy with your services. Like, you know, he runs Impulse Productions. He's our producer, our marketer, our friend, our guest. I mean, everything. You know, and so I hope that builds you up, because I really have faith in you, and I'm happy with everything. So hopefully that gives
She's
you.
trying to add to your account right now.
I appreciate
I'm trying
it.
so hard.
Is it working?
A little bit,
It's
yeah.
sincere.
Yeah.
It's sincere.
It's more of the fact that people are. It's not like complimenting or anything like that. I don't really like.
It doesn't.
Whenever I've done jobs, I've usually like I don't need to hear if like someone liked what I did or whatever. As long as like it got the results that person's expecting. So like accolades, not a huge deal for me. I just like to see results, and I like to see the person that I'm doing things for happy.
Okay.
Because whenever like with things I do with clients, like as long as they're happy with what I'm doing, even though they're not seeing immediate results right away, that's awesome. Like they're getting what they're expecting and then some, you know. So
Compliments really don't.
I enjoy them.
You don't hate them.
But
But
I enjoy seeing the person I'm interacting with, like,
excited and happy.
yeah,
and,
yeah,
and
like
hopeful.
I get that from seeing other people succeed, and that's when like with just like listening to people and when once they're like opening up to you, that's awesome because you're making a real connection. You know what I mean?
You had talked about at one point thinking you wanted to be a therapist, right?
It was something I was toying with, but
Yeah, you're good at it though. I mean, in the sense you don't have to be a therapist in order to do that, but you do have a big picture. So what you're saying is your emotional bank account gets deposited into when people open up to you?
yeah, when you're making like an actual human connection, talking about things that actually matter, not
I
what you
like
think
it.
that matters. You know, it's like
Yeah.
okay, now we're getting somewhere. I have a couple friends that are, including you guys, that are totally like that, and that's the people I like to stick around. You know,
You
because
don't-
that makes me feel good. Like, there's a reason I'm sticking around too, is because I feel good that you're
Opening up?
being vulnerable with me and sharing
Therapist
things.
would be a good profession for someone like that.
So do you...
To not do it for accolades and stuff, because I feel like you would get you if you were doing something for accolades, especially therapy, like you would probably get worn out pretty quick.
Pretty burnt out, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
have to be in it
When
for the right
everyone's dumping
reasons.
stuff
And just
on you, yeah.
someone telling you that you're doing good or that they think you're doing good, that's not like I want to see results. I want to see that person growing as a person. Like the things that I'm giving to them, like advice. Like my sister and I talk all the time. Whenever she asks for advice from me, when she uses that advice in the real world and she tells me about that, awesome. That's like amazing. Or seeing somebody just grow, like they're setting a goal and I hear that they're progressing through that goal, like that's phenomenal. Because like for me, that's like extremely hard to do, is to set a goal and
Stick to it.
and stick to it
yeah.
and actually see the outcome of it. So when I see other people doing that, and then that helps me grow because I'm like, they're doing it right in front of my eyes,
So that
like,
gives
they're
you...
good inspiration
like there's no
for
reason,
inspiration,
yeah.
yeah.
There's no reason why I can't go out there and do the same thing. So, and that's like the kindness that's being deposited back into the world, because it always comes back in some way. You know what I mean?
We could also talk about the world bank account,
Yeah.
depositing kindness, into
Yeah,
the
just-
world bank account, because there's so much negative that's talked about on the news, and so
Well,
that's what sells.
That's what
unfortunately,
sells. Yeah.
yeah.
A negative story is going to travel much further than a positive one.
So
Which is why most of the news is like, oh, someone died, or we had this, a robbery or whatever. Like it's like
it's all that.
That's the newsworthy stuff. Not
They're
like,
interested in the here and now transaction versus the lifetime value of their viewers is basically it. Because if you constantly provide positive, like that person's gonna stick around with your channel or whatever you're doing for a long time.
Interesting.
You know what I mean?
But they,
Versus like, I'm just gonna do something controversial, get as many
to get
people,
the wow now.
and they'll probably
controversy,
never
yes.
come back for all I care.
The
Like
now
whatever.
moment is actually you
Wow.
could coin that, I bet.
Wow now. Isn't that like wow?
Oh yeah. Little,
Well, don't say it like Borat. Wow now.
wow now.
But
She doesn't get the reference.
We'll have to cover that in another quiz.
At another pop culture, yeah. I'll
But-
bring up Borat. That's gonna be fun.
Is that like a cleaner, like borax or something, or?
Not quite.
No, he's pretty dirty.
He's like the top of the raunchiest people or characters out there. Yeah. He's pretty raunchy.
So Travis,
No interest. She's like,
Can't
all
wait to
right,
bring that. I can't wait to
another thing that I have
quotes.
to remember.
Very nice.
not wanting, really mostly enjoying talking about real things. Has that increased since the cancer? Because if you recall, Travis was on here talking about his cancer at age 26.
Yeah.
And has that made you realize, like, okay, wait a minute.
So I think it has. I think it's
Because of that?
woken me up a little bit. You know what I mean? But
Okay.
all my friends, I ask that question to everyone I know, is like, does it seem like I changed since then? They're like, and they tell me not really, like, which surprises me. They're like, you've always been kind of like that, but it's probably more expounded and more defined, and I'm more confident about those beliefs and feelings afterwards. You know what I mean?
And you don't want to waste time, I would think, 'cause
No,
you
and-
got kind of scared shitless with,
Yeah.
cancer.
Yeah, and it's like my whole perspective changed when I knew I wasn't gonna die or anything from it, but I forced myself to to dive into that prospect. Like, what if something, what if it does spread, like how am I going to handle that, And you really go down that path, and you got to force yourself down it, because it's hard to think about, because then you're also thinking about all your friends and family you're leaving behind. And like the saddest thing I've felt is like knowing that everyone else is going to be like upset about it too, like me, I'll be gone, like nothing.
Yeah.
You know what
Yeah.
I mean? So just like, yeah, diving down that path definitely changed the way that like the things that I find important. That's why I
like
do
it.
what I do now. Like, I don't want to like work for a corporation and
Yeah, you want to
be a cog in a wheel and not do anything substantial. Like, I feel like everything I'm doing is like seeing other people do what they want to do. That's,
I'm reading another book that, the reason I say another one, because we have a quote from one previous that I read, and these are just fiction books, but they come up with really great things. And
You can learn a lot from fiction. I mean,
Yeah.
most fiction is
Based
based off
on-
of some sort of truth anyway, or
But
a combination of truths. But
this one, some guy was being all macho because he's a bigwig corporate guy in the book.
which book was it?
It's called The Switch by Beth O'Leary.
I haven't read it.
It's really kind of neat because it's talk about filling up your emotional bank account if you read a really good book, especially one that's kind of funny. And this one is about an 80-year-old grandma and a 20-something granddaughter, and they decide to switch lives. And the grandma goes and lives in the city in a flat with the granddaughter's roommates and starts dating at age 80. And the granddaughter ends up in this podunk town going to neighborhood watch meetings and dressing up as the Easter Bunny.
It sounds
And,
kind of like Freaky Friday. It reminds me of that.
and when they switch,
When
do
yeah, it's
that-
the mom and daughter that switch, but it's a similar
similar thing.
theme. Yeah.
And so she's in this small town now, and her boyfriend from the corporate world of London comes to visit, and he's all like macho and whatever, and I'm this bigwig corporate VP guy kind of thing, and I make lots of money and this and that. And then he talks to somebody that is probably going to become her love interest eventually, because her values are going to change. And he says, "What do you do?" And this guy says, "I'm a school teacher." He said, "I don't make lots of money or have wonderful corporate accolades or whatever. I'm just investing in people's futures." Like the way he said it was faster. He was like, not big money, but creating people's futures. Not any responsibility at all, basically. And I thought that was a neat way to say, like, that's what matters, not the big corporate thing where I got this account and that account, and now I make this much money. And here's this teacher teaching these little second graders and trying to build them up and give them a future. So that's kind of what reminded when you said
It's
that
very
you're
similar themes, yeah, to what Travis was talking about.
like, you just don't want to go back to, because the job you were on, the episode about the
wrongful termination.
wrongful termination. Yeah.
The last
So
straw.
you don't regret now being a freelancer and your own boss, huh?
No.
Good.
Yeah, the person I do a lot of work for is got an awesome worldview. We clicked like immediately. He has the same focus on life that I do, where he has all these clients, very diverse group of clients that all do different things, and he just wants to see them grow. And then obviously a rising tide will raise all boats, so he'll also get a feel of that, you know what I mean? So and then if I see him succeeding with what I'm doing, like, I'll eventually just rise with it, so it comes
like
back to you. Like, it's not completely like not selfish, like you still have to support yourself, but
Yeah.
but it's a trickle up economics in the emotional banking world, you know what I mean?
That's fantastic.
Instead of trickle down, because we all
Instead
know
of
trickle down doesn't work, where you're
Yeah.
supporting the people at top. They're never gonna
Trickle down?
disseminate any of that
Yeah.
downwards. But if you help the
Trickle
people on the
up.
bottom, like, everyone's gonna benefit eventually.
I love that. Wow, that's pretty awesome. What about you, Katie? Let's move on. Sorry, it was interesting, but I just thought I'd see how have you had any experience like today or this week that deposited into your emotional bank account?
Yeah. I mean, there's lots of stuff. I mean, there's stuff I think of, like, Saturday mornings I usually sit and read, kind of like what you were saying, how reading a good book kind of helps. This is just for myself.
For your own
But I'll
way
sit
of depositing. Yeah.
with, like, a cup of coffee, and my cat will sit on my lap, you know, like.
It's just the
And
best.
it sounds, simple or whatever, but it
But
helps
something
me.
you notice, and that
And
says
it's-
something.
Oh yeah, and I feel it like afterwards, and I'm like, I need this at least like once a week or something like that, just to chill and get lost in some sort of book, and hang out with my kitty that is home alone all day. Like it's nice. And I always, another one that happens every morning is Matt usually gives me a kiss goodbye because he leaves good. I get up way later than I really should be, and I'm still in bed by the time that he's like leaving for work and
Okay.
stuff. So I get a kiss on the forehead and love you goodbye, and then he walks out.
Oh.
Yeah, and that's like, it's nice, and I feel weird if it doesn't happen. I'm like, hey, get back here, like it's it's a nice little gesture.
Now you're gonna start saying, "Hey, make a deposit.
Hey, you.
Come on."
I need this
I need a deposit right here.
right here. Yeah, juicy one right there. Bring it on.
Those are the ones that occur regularly. The things
Those
that
are
you
little
that you
moments that
and that you
happen.
kind of start to rely on, and
Yeah.
and they matter big time,
That's just home life, like, because you want your home to feel good and filled with little moments. It's not necessarily going to have big grandiose gestures or anything, but the little ones kind of build up and end up filling your account and everything. I'll do it to myself too. How about that?
Speaking of Lando though, and the wow now. Wait,
Oh, the wow now. So
wow, yeah.
I
Is that what we coined? Wow now.
wow now, yeah,
The wow now.
wow
You want the
now.
wow now? Yeah.
yeah.
The wow of now. Yeah. Wow now.
But I know where you're getting at. I call. I probably told you this too. My cat, he doesn't really meow. He just kind of makes a wow sound. So I call him Lil Wow Wow. Lil Wow Now. I could say now too.
Yeah.
Lil
But
Wow Now.
do you do that when you come home?
I wows. Yeah.
Wows.
Yeah. I've shortened it to wows, wawa, kitty, kits. Yeah. There's lots of. Everyone has like names for that aren't their animals' names.
Yep.
For their
Yep.
pets.
Or baby talk.
What do you
like,
call your dogs?
Orabora,
Ouroboros. Okay.
and I just say Bella Bella.
Bella
Orabora
Bella
and Bella Bella.
Oh, that's cute.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
we
I
had
like
a.
that.
And then when I need them both to come over by me, I say Orabella.
Orabella's
Like really quick.
really works well together,
Yeah.
actually. Those are two great sounding names that combined.
Arabella, yeah.
Arabella, yeah. What do you call your pets? Do you call them anything different?
Well, so Dixie I call Lixie because she licks all the time. And then
That makes sense.
Jazzy I call Spazzy because she's a spaz.
You got easy ones.
And
Yeah,
Spook,
she just
and Spook I
rhymes.
call Kook.
So you like to rhyme.
I like to rhyme.
Like it to look exactly the same but different letters. My cat's name is Lando, and I call him Wows.
Wow.
It doesn't
But-
rhyme.
Probably fills your cup though, even just
And
the
yeah,
rhyming names or whatever.
we had a dog named Sandy, and we started calling her Sandy, Sander Banana, and then we called her Banana, and then it got shortened to Nanner, and then Nana, or Nanners, or something like that. So like kind of how you with Katie was Katie or Tater Tot? No,
It was
Cater-
Caters Potatoes.
Cater's potato.
Do you remember? I think Amanda Tomzak used to
Yeah.
call me.
Yeah.
She used to call me Taters all the time because she.
Cater's potatoes.
Well, the origin of this was there was this guy that I was kind of seeing in high school, and he was flirting with me over text or something. And instead of saying like something, I don't know, flirty, he said, "What's up, Caters Potatoes?" And I was like, "What?"
That's a new one.
It made me laugh so hard. And I told Amanda that, and she literally never stopped calling me that.
Yeah,
I think if I
it's
saw her
stuck.
today, I would still be called Taters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so when you went to camp, when you were a camp
When I was a
counselor,
camp counselor, I got to pick a camp name, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna stick with this Taters thing, and I was called Tater Tot.
and then Tot,
And
or
now Tot,
Tots.
and then Tots, Sweet
Yeah.
Tots, Hot Toddy. That was like all the variations of my name.
What about you?
Camp.
Do you have a nickname for Travis?
My
T-Rav.
my friends call me older, and Shane is younger, because they usually call each other by their last
Like you
names.
refer to each
Garsky.
other?
Hey, like come here, Garsky. But
Okay.
it didn't work once I entered the picture, because
Okay.
they were originally Shane's friends from a band he was in.
Okay.
So I entered the picture, and they're like, Garsky, and we both looked every time. So they're like, oh, younger Garsk, older Garsk, and
then
then
just-
eventually it was older and younger. So that's
Older.
Yep,
That's
I'm
a funny
older.
joke.
Yep.
You are older, but you're not old. So good
No,
thing they're not
never
saying
old.
old.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're never going to be old, but you'll always be older
But I like
than
older
Shane.
because it makes me feel wise and
Yeah, you're the
and, like I'm the wise
you're
man
the
of the
leader.
group.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The
What about
super wise.
other things? Like, did anything happen today besides Matt kissing you on the forehead? Like that.
And asking
Phil-
for snacks.
He did ask me for sex.
That was a
funny,
little
too.
one.
That was
Because it's
pretty
just
funny.
quirky little moment.
What?
Well, yeah.
For snacks?
While we were setting up in here, he was like, "What time are you home? And do you want to bring snacks?"
Which I was like, that's a very weird way of asking to bring snacks.
And do you
It's
want to
literally,
bring snacks?
Do you want to bring snacks?
Because it was your idea.
Like,
Right.
what does that mean? Bring snacks? Like, not dinner?
Well, it's
or...
football night, so he likes to have
God. Oh.
snacks for football. I usually bring home like a pizza or something.
Okay.
But I think he just wants like chips or something like that. So.
I like it.
But I mean, it made me laugh, so it did
Yeah,
add to
yeah.
my account and stuff.
Okay.
So,
All right.
You think he knows that?
yeah, I mean, I said LOL.
Oh, definitely knows that. Then, yeah.
Yeah, no, we have like little moments like that. But I mean, I think of, I get to work and there's usually only one other coworker there when I get there, and like the two of us will talk about our nights or whatever that morning, or like every morning usually.
Yeah. Nice.
And it's kind of a nice thing, you know. We get to just chat
Yeah,
about
start
stuff.
your day with a little chat. And
With a little conversation, yeah, and then sometimes it gets into longer topics, and sometimes it's just like, oh, I watched this funny YouTube video or you know, something like that. But it's just
Nice.
little conversations that kind of add up and everything. So it's a good start. Do you
Yeah.
have anything that happened today?
Today, well, I had my dog Dunkel, the one that was on the show. Was that just last time? Or yeah.
Yeah.
And when Matt was on, yeah. And
Right.
Dunkel is just one of the best dogs I've ever known. Like, I'm getting to know him even better.
He's a great dog.
He's so chill, and he's so manageable. Gets along. Whatever it is, it's okay as long as he's loved, kind of thing. And that just fills up my tank or my bank. Tank and bank.
I've been saying cup too, but like it's all kind of the same.
But my therapist
but
talks about filling up your tank, but I like depositing in the bank better.
Depositing in the bank. I say fill up your cup sometimes is like, but it's all the same.
Same concept.
Yeah, same concept, but
But I guess filling up the tank, I didn't think about other people. Like, I visualize filling up the tank, gas.
like a gas tank.
But
yeah.
other people don't, for visual,
they're like, why would I fill up your tank?
exactly. Like,
Yeah.
something with the depositing is really a kind of a neat analogy.
Yeah, because there's exchanges that happen, which is
Yeah. And so animals, they big time, they do it for me. And helping Dunkel, even though practically everybody I've talked to has said, you've got so much on your plate, why would you take on a dog even part-time? I said, because it feels, it deposits. Like, it's a good thing. It's something I can do. It's something I can fix. It's something I can make better. And all these other things are just stuff I'm trying not to make worse. Especially Terry's cancer, right? And Terry's heart problems. And
Back to the results thing.
Yeah,
it's like
right.
you're seeing the results immediately. Like he's like a completely different dog now.
yes, exactly. Very good point. Yeah, and so you get that.
He's starting to be more playful, right?
Oh my God, he's just
The fact that he was just walking around, like, that was huge.
totally settled, and
Yeah.
it's been a week and a half.
Because when I first came here, he was tied to that bed, probably because it was what
Safe.
was
That's his
safe,
bed.
comfortable,
Yep.
and familiar.
Man, he goes all over now. Like he's on errands with me and over at visiting people, and he's so tired by the time he's done with me that he's so happy to go back to Ty, my client who takes him at night, because he can sleep, and he sleeps. He goes to bed at 7:00, and then Ty has to wake him up at 9:30 to take one more pee, and then he sleeps all the way through until like 8:30 or 9. Ty has to like, okay, get up, old man, come on, you gotta, but he's so happy and so peaceful that he sleeps all night, whereas he never did that before. He would always get up in the night and need to go out or whatever. So I think wearing him out during the day is important. So all of my animals fill up my emotional tank, but also just, I mean, we have so much fun at the Fitness Loft. I can't even believe I get paid to do what I do. Okay, we have so many inside jokes because it's been so many years now. It's been 17 years plus, and so many of my customers have been around even longer because they were at my other business, and so we just have this history. And we've all gotten older together, and so we're getting more like looser, because as you get older, you stop caring about what you say and whatever. And there are just so many things that are particular to our clients here that we all get, but if anyone looked in from the outside, they'd be like, what the fuck, Oops. Explicit.
We're allowed to say that, though.
But do we have to make it explicit?
Oh, no.
We swear all the fucking time.
Yeah, we fucking all the time.
I don't fucking know. I mean, what the fuck?
What is this shit? Like, I'm surprised.
Yeah, all of a sudden she's being censored over here. Like, what?
I don't know where that came from.
The day that we're censored on anything is the day we're doing it wrong.
Okay, sounds
No.
good. Yeah, I don't know where that came from. Anyway, I felt like I was a bad girl.
But anyways, yeah, you
it's
guys
just
do have a
it's
lot
just
of inside jokes and
it
stuff.
is such a camaraderie, and I think that the Fitness Loft fills up or deposits into everybody that comes here their emotional banks, even if we don't exercise. Like, exercise is so low on the priority right now. Like, it's kind of pathetic that, because sometimes we really don't do much, but people just want to come and they want to share with each other and they want to laugh and they want to be real. Like, if they're not in the mood to laugh and they want to share something that's really awful, they do. And I think that it's really a good place to get your deposits. And I get paid, so I also get other kinds of deposits.
She gets real deposits.
Yeah.
You make money off of it.
And I always say, who's really the strange one here? Because it's like, you're crazy, this and that. I'm like, really? Am I the crazy one? Like, you come here voluntarily. Even
pay
though
for it.
Even
Yeah.
though I leave you waiting in the parking lot, I cancel all the time, I barely teach, I tell you I don't really care if you're here, you can leave any time, kind of thing, and then you still come back and you pay me, but you also bring me gifts. So who's the crazy one?
Yeah, it's definitely them. It's you guys.
But okay, here, I'm drinking more again, people. Okay,
Making a deposit right now.
I'm making a deposit right now. Yeah. So, but getting into or going back to what you said about the person that paid for your coffee in the Starbucks line and didn't want anything for it, and just did it and left. There's that quote that I sent you on your phone, but I can't. My phone's recording right now. But I just thought it was a really neat quote from a different book that I read, and it was so true that we really need to think about this and focus on this more.
Oh, it was the one that we both thought was a different meaning. Okay, so it says, let's see if I say it differently so it'll come out different. The quote is, "You know, the human race gets an awful lot of flack, but really, most of the time, people are just going around being quietly, silently, and utterly amazing."
And I like that. Now both of them thought I was going to say, or the quote was going to say,
It was going to go in a totally different direction.
Depressing or whatever, or depressed, or
Everyone.
It just goes to show what our minds are
sociopathic,
Going quietly,
narcissistic.
silently, utterly, like depressed. Or dead inside or something like that.
So why would the human race get a lot of flack? It's like, meaning if they're going to be depressed, of course they should have flack. Well, I mean, I don't know. I'm not making much sense. But the point of this is that people are going around all the time doing stuff like that, like in the Starbucks line, and paying for it and not expecting any kind of kudos for it.
There's lots of stories online of people saying that someone bought their drink or like.
Or you hear about people,
their whatever.
They leave $1,000 tip, like when the pandemic first started, and
tips were big, I think.
And then they would just leave. They wouldn't, want to, brag about it. I'm leaving you $1,000 tip because you're great, meaning I'm great.
Yeah.
So
or
that's,
people will make donations anonymously and stuff.
Yeah.
So
it makes you think, though, from like a physiological point. Why do we go out of our way to make ourselves feel good and other people feel good? Like, what's the evolutionary reason for that?
Why do we do it?
Yeah, getting
Because
that shot of dopamine or that shot of serotonin in that moment from, like, making somebody else happy.
But are you talking about we? Like, a lot of people don't.
That person that paid for your drink got nothing out of it other than a chemical boost in his brain.
It must have felt good to him or something.
Yeah, and that was enough to make him pay for your drink. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So the people that are doing these random acts of kindness and all that, you're asking why? Does it give him? Yeah,
I'm assuming it just makes them feel good. Yeah, like it. Yeah. It feels good to be good.
But why do we have that urge to feel good? Makes you think about like from a survival standpoint. You know what I mean? Like what is the purpose of that feeling that we get?
I don't think that's related to animalistic behavior or whatever. I think that's our frontal lobe and our judgment and our emotions and our as humans.
Maybe
I think that's part of humanity almost, like, or it's different than our survivalist nature that we may have came from.
Maybe that's our like consciousness or our psyche or our moral compass, and that's its way of feeding. You know what I mean?
It makes us more civilized versus like our barbaric or whatever evolution that we came from, or it makes us more of the human
collective, because collectives tend to survive more than single entities or divided. Yeah, like makes us into a community of sorts, I guess, instead of just being. But isn't that weird? Isn't that weird to you that that's embedded in our consciousness, that we have to do these sort of things because it just feels good? Like, why do we want to feel good? Why do we want to feel that happy feeling?
Right.
Because I think.
Well, it probably makes us feel better about ourselves.
As humans, you want to know and maybe there's even a spiritual component to it, because we get definitely drilled into us, that you got to do this and this and this to make it to heaven or wherever, or to get presents from Santa Claus. Same as God.
That was a motivator for myself.
It was? Seriously?
Santa Claus, yeah. Yeah, I mean, it was like what the parents always used to, like, if you're misbehaving, like, oh, I don't know if Santa's gonna be able to make it if you're on the naughty list. Like, it's a huge motivator, I think.
I never had that. I had no childhood.
They didn't talk about Santa at all?
No. We never had.
It was more of the religious Christmas?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense with Grandma.
Yeah. And no tooth fairy or anything like that.
And then you just replace Santa with Jesus then.
Well,
yeah, exactly.
Tooth fairy is getting pretty rich these days, because I think I got like a quarter or something, and now they're getting like $5 to $7 per tooth. And
Inflation. we're in a hyperinflation.
I guess.
Hey,
I guess teeth are inflating and not everything else, but
Kids are like, come on, there's a body part I'm giving you. Give me a little bit more
honestly,
than that.
I get that. I honestly get the mindset behind it. But I'm like, why did I miss out? Like, why was I alive when I was, you know?
Uncle Bob's granddaughter Haley,
Yeah.
she gets $20 for each tooth.
What? What?
Jeez.
And so
Sounds like they use the teeth for something. It's like,
So-
I really need that.
Uncle Bob
Experimentation.
Uncle Bob says, Haley, you know, when I was a kid, I just got a quarter, because it's Cindy and John who give her $100 or $20. And, you know, what happened? What, you know, why do you think you're getting 20? And I used to get a quarter or a dime even. And Grandpa, they fired all of those tooth fairies. The ones that gave a quarter.
That's a good explanation for
She
it.
was like 7 when she said that. They fired all of them. The ones that now are like, you know, much better.
They've hired new personnel onto this Tooth Fairy committee. Yeah.
And then Haley is also the one. See, these are the stories I love sharing with people, and that deposits into my emotional bank account. But Haley, when she was like 4, Uncle Bob started giving her $1 every time she would get a beer for him from the refrigerator. And I remember
She must have been rich.
cousin Cindy's like, she's got $4,000 in her savings, and she's 4. and
I mean, he drinks a lot of beers.
and so, at first, she was bringing him. Haley, go ahead and bring me a couple at one time, because he drinks them that fast. So she'd bring 2. Then she realized, wait a minute, because she was so smart. If I bring one at a time, I can make double.
Businesswoman.
Exactly.
So she's keeping him paced.
and
It's
that
probably
too.
healthier for him.
Healthier.
Well, actually, yeah. But and she makes money, so it's a win-win.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's no fool, you know. So
You know, this conversation of like the good deeds and everything makes me think of a Friends episode, which did either of you guys watch Friends growing up?
I did.
A few episodes
Well, you know,
here and there.
You know Phoebe.
Yeah.
Well, there was one episode where she was like, or Joey told her that there's no such thing as a selfless good deed, and she like spends the whole episode trying to find a selfless good deed. She's like, I let a bee sting me, and so he got to look tough in front of all of his bee friends, and then Joey's like, you know, or maybe it's Chandler, but they're like, you know, bees die after they lose their stinger, after they sting you, right? Like, and she's like, no. But I mean, there was like a whole episode on her trying to find a selfless good deed.
Did
and
she?
I'm wondering if the same question. I'm like, is there such a thing if we are filling up our own bank accounts while we're doing a good deed? Is there anything that's actually selfless out there?
Well, and making sure that you feel like a good person, you know, maybe that's why people do things like, you know, oh, I'm a good person. I paid for somebody's coffee and didn't say anything.
Right.
You know,
So it's not selfless because you're building yourself up.
Perhaps, but I mean, somebody like you, Travis, you say that stuff isn't really as important to you. So, like, if you did that, it wouldn't matter. Like,
It depends on how you look at it. If you consider the feeling you get from that, it's never going to be selfless, because you're always going to get a good feeling from doing something good, you know? Mm-hmm. But if you're expecting something in return, and that's how we're defining it, then
yeah, you can definitely have
absolutely
selfless good deeds, but
yeah. This last Christmas, I did this. I don't know if you saw it, but bought a bunch of Switches.
The Switches, yeah.
Nintendo Switches, and donated them to the chemotherapy center I was at, because it was boring as shit sitting there for 8 hours a day. You know, just staring at the person in front of you also doing the same thing.
okay.
Did I just pull a Mary?
I think you did. Not on purpose this time.
Not on purpose this time. Nope.
But just knowing that people are there, like, able to play games. If, like, I don't even know if people are. Like, I asked for, actually selfishly asked for a picture if anyone was playing a game or any games on them, and never got it, but I would assume they would be.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, but
Wait, is that the Mario Linguini guy.
Yep.
He's on Switch. He's one. I mean, but there's
Oh,
a lot of Nintendo characters.
That's a good
yeah.
connection, though. Like,
Yeah,
like
you're
pop
nailing it.
culture, but yeah.
that is Nintendo.
Okay. Anyway,
Yes, that is Nintendo.
It's not like PlayStation or Xbox or anything.
No,
I
you
did-
can't play. I don't think you can play it on PlayStation.
I just got a deposit. I did.
I did it right.
For
Oh yeah, what did
myself.
you learn from this past pop culture? Do you remember?
Oh, shit.
Linguini and Mario.
Linguini. Yeah. And
I don't even remember the
inside
question.
joke. We're always gonna say that in linguini, and everyone's gonna be
Mario
like,
and Linguini.
like,
See?
that's not right.
Do you remember the other ones?
oh, it's okay. It's Luigi. Yeah.
Luigi, yes.
But now you have a mnemonic device going on in there. Linguini,
Linguini.
Luigi.
Something with Eeyore is
Oh yeah.
not a pony
Right.
and
Congratulations.
not a pig,
But what is Eeyore?
and he is a. Is it a boy?
Yeah. Yeah, he's a boy.
He's sad
He's sad.
because what did he lose? No, did he lose that?
He lost
Oh.
something.
He lost
does
his
lose-
happiness.
No,
Well, that's what I said.
a body part.
Oh, his tail.
His tail. I
And
think
that-
that was the question that I got, right? Or something that he gave
Oh,
me.
okay, that was you. All right.
Yeah, because Matt asked me, what does Eeyore always lose? And
You said his happiness,
his happiness, 'cause I'm like, he's always sad.
but he never had it in the first place. So
Pretty much, yeah. But he always lost his tail.
he's a donkey.
Good job.
And did you get a picture of that? The picture of
Oh,
Eeyore?
shoot. No,
No, I didn't. You gotta.
So
give it
you
I forgot.
you basically went in a onesie, and that made you Eeyore.
Mm-hmm.
How did you look like a donkey?
I didn't. I looked like Eeyore. I don't know. I looked like Eeyore, but I didn't look like a donkey. So,
Okay,
if that makes any sense.
fair enough.
Yeah. Speaking of, filling up my cup, but I did trick or treating with the Eeyore costume.
On Sunday?
Yeah, I mean, I handed out candy. I didn't actually go trick or treating.
That's sweet.
But there was a group of people from Winnie the Pooh, where Eeyore's from. So there was a Pooh, a Piglet, and a Tigger that walked up to the house, and I was like, "What's
And
up,
you-
my people? I can be your fourth." You know, like,
Did they
yeah, they laughed.
did they understand?
They are also randomly with someone dressed as the rapper Pitbull, which is kind of a funny group. But I'm like, "Mr. Worldwide, what's up?" She doesn't get it.
I don't get that either. Shoot.
But it was like this little girl who's like 4 foot tall and everything, and she's like,
She
"You
was,
got it."
She was dressed as Pitbull.
She was dressed as Pitbull. She was so funny. She was wearing like the suit.
She
and
have
had
a ball cap
on.
Oh
Yeah.
my god,
She was
that's
really
all
funny.
out.
But like it was fun to like have these little moments with these kids, you know, because they're trick or treating is such a fun.
Did you get
atmosphere. Like, I
a lot
really-
of kids, pretty much?
We had like 10 groups. We gave away about half of our candy.
My
Not all of
my brother's neighborhood barely got anyone.
Everyone was
pretty
saying
sad.
that. Ours was pretty good, but everyone, I think, probably because of COVID. So
Yeah, Shane's like, this sucks.
it's a bummer because it's
Yeah.
like it's actually such a fun, festive atmosphere when kids are walking around and stuff. So
But did
it
they
helped fill my bank account that day.
did they notice that they recognized that you were Eeyore?
Yeah, because they had the same onesies but in the different characters.
Oh, they have onesies.
They were literally dressed exactly the same as me. Yeah. It was
That's
funny.
what they wear. Like on
Sometimes.
Winnie the Pooh wears a onesie.
Well, it's just
No.
a onesie of Winnie the Pooh.
Oh,
It doesn't. It's not what he wears. He actually just wears a T-shirt and nothing else. But
did you wear a onesie?
kids aren't going to do that.
That's right.
Okay,
They
that
gotta wear something.
deposit that deposited for me.
That was on a left field. I didn't expect that.
Yeah.
I
So
never realized he's just
wearing a red shirt.
Yeah.
Nothing else. Yeah. Yeah. So anyway,
That's really cute. I like that.
It was a nice little memory from this past weekend. So
My mom, so grandma, said the first thing, she was like 3 years old, the first thing that she remembers thinking about a cat that was in their house was that cat doesn't have any underwear on. She's like 3 or 4, and she's like, that butt is sitting on my carpet. That's why she was kind of grossed out about animals, because they're so
Naked.
There are people that think that way of like
why are
cats going on the counters and stuff.
I mean, then they're exposed,
They are exposed and then they're digging in their litter box. It doesn't bother me, but I can understand the sentiment to an extent. But
we don't want to put underwear on our cats.
no, or actually it'd be kind of cute, but I mean I don't think they would like it very much.
So the other thing was that, again, with filling or depositing, I like depositing. I got to stick with that. Into the emotional account is interchanges with people all day long. Just little things. People I don't even know on the phone. I'll say something just to make them laugh. It's kind of something I got from Terry, because he does it all the time. He's trying really hard to make people laugh. And so now it's kind of like I've taken it on. And, you're never going to talk to him again. You're on the phone with somebody from Sutton's, Visa, da-da-da, and you're never going to talk to them again. But you can just say something, and then they laugh, and then you have that human connection.
Mm-hmm.
And I really like that on a regular basis. It's challenging to me. Mm-hmm. It's important to me with everyone I talk to just try to connect as a human, even if it's 20 seconds. But look, we're all in this together.
Mm-hmm.
I don't get it either, but here we are, and I'm my life is really hard, but I'm still interested in seeing how the movie ends. Like I'm sticking around because life can be really interesting if you think of it that way, what your path is, And so I want to see how my movie ends. No matter what, I think I'll be pretty. The other thing is I do spend a lot of time depositing into my own account by complimenting myself.
I thought you were going to say I spend a lot of time in front of the mirror.
Which is the same thing.
Which is also true. But yeah. I think you do. You compliment yourself more than...
I do.
Actually, probably, I think other people compliment you too, but you compliment yourself an equal amount.
It's a shtick we have here. It kind of just started one day. I had a client that was in class, Sheila, and I was saying, everybody was really down. I'm like, come on, guys, what's going on? Isn't this great? This is such great music, great class. We got friends. We're here. This is so good. You're always trying to ask for compliments and da-da-da. I'm surprised you don't ever ask if you're pretty. And I'm like, I can ask that? And so it became a thing. So now people come in and, hello, pretty Mary, because if they don't say it, I'm like, am I pretty today?
How many names are added to your title now? Is it Reverend Pretty Princess Mary or Mary Princess?
Mary Princess, for sure.
Okay, so Reverend... No, it's going to be Pretty Reverend Mary, or Mary Princess.
I like it.
Or you can say Reverend Mary Princess, and then instead of saying like the third, the prettiest.
the prettiest.
In
like comma the pretty.
You're
gonna be like Game of Thrones like type of title.
Yeah, where you have 100 last names. They do that on that show.
Queen of the Fitness Loft.
St. Mary's Loft of God.
Right.
19 stairs closer to heaven.
Welcome to the church.
Kind of is like a church.
It is. It's a community.
When you think
it's
about
supportive.
like little deposits, people go to church to deposit moral,
right.
like moral deposits. And,
yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly.
But they think somebody's watching. That's the thing.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. Whereas here, they just give me money. There's no person. But I got my 1 month. Did you see what I sent you? Mm-hmm. Congratulations, Reverend Mary Albrecht. It's been 1 month since you've been ordained as a minister. How are you coming on your goals and all the openings that you have now with your life path and da-da-da? It's like...
That's weird. They send out an email to check.
They send out emails.
That's interesting.
It's all... Yeah. It's silly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She can give marriage counseling now.
Mm-hmm.
We tested it out on the last episode. If you guys didn't see it, yeah.
I can open a church. I can do baptisms. I can do marriage renewal vows, all weddings. I can do deaths, death certificates. I mean, come on. It just, all I did was, there
You
was
worked really
nothing.
hard. No, you worked really hard for this.
There was nothing. I thought they would at least do a little bit of a questionnaire, a background check. What if you're a criminal and I'm a reverend now?
Signing death certificates and stuff.
Yeah, that's really strange to me. But, the only reason I'm doing it is to marry you and Matt.
And for bragging rights.
Well, I mean, and then the parking.
The parking at the
At the hospitals.
Only the hospitals.
Yeah.
Where you get better parking at hospitals.
You do. I got a chaplain thing coming. It's a thing you hang. It's like a handicap, but it's chaplain. You can.
You know so many of these benefits that nobody probably ever would look into.
I spend a lot of time at hospitals, so I should, especially with winter coming, I should be able to park up front. I think so. Anyway, so you like my socks. Another thing
They're very bright.
that deposits is wearing something like that. Fun.
Do they have cats on the bottom?
No, this one doesn't.
Because you have ones like that have cats somewhere on them.
Oh, I've got,
Loads
like
of 'em.
37 pairs of cat socks. Yeah. So, but today's Sounds Cat. Anyway, what's up? Anything?
What's up?
I'm a little bit toasted. I have so much stress in my life, again, and still, and whatever. Not to say that it's kind of withdrawing a little bit from my bank account. That I've given up on my 1 bottle a night for now.
Oh, meaning you're going back to 2.
Or 1.5. I'm not going to police it. I got to get through the next couple weeks. It's really hard, so.
No, you got a lot of stuff still.
And I want
going
to keep
on.
up my tolerance, because it's like flexing muscles. So I don't want to lose it.
Yeah, you don't want to be like me where I don't practice and
Yeah.
suck at drinking. I mean,
Yeah.
it's bad.
Yeah, too big of a deposit at once.
Right, yeah.
It's overload.
It would overfill my bank account.
Oh, we talked about that. So, what did you say about egos? Like if I keep filling up my bank account by saying I'm so
surplus,
pretty and whatever,
yeah.
and it becomes so big that,
It's like an offshore bank account you're filling up.
and also that you it's like gets so big, it's like your ego is.
You don't know where to put all these compliments anymore, so you
Your
just shove
ego.
them in your ego. Or if you're drained and you give too much, then you start tapping your energy. Like you start getting like fatigued.
Like this is almost too hard.
Like I'm putting in so much work and
Yeah, there can be probably too many deposits, right?
yeah,
No. Can there be?
I feel like there is. Yeah.
What does that mean?
Like
Too much of a good thing is not a good thing.
Oh,
well, not
okay.
even that. It's like, say you're like working on a relationship and you just put in so much work and effort into like making that other person feel good, and if they don't return it in any way, it's like you're drained.
Then
like,
you're being withdrawn from
yeah, you're at
your
a deficit.
account. Yeah.
You're at a deficit at that point. Now you're starting to tap into your energy level. It's just like.
There's
Yeah.
certain people that do that by just being around them, and as you get older, you probably getting there. Given you're getting.
You guys
You're
are getting there.
You're getting older, but you with your experience.
I'm literally called older, so you don't have to
right.
explain it to me.
Yes, you are
He's the
older.
older,
You're not
yeah.
even getting older. You are older.
I am older.
Are you
but
30 yet?
Not yet this year.
Before the end of 2021?
Mm-hmm.
what's your birthday?
Old fuck.
December
December what?
the 8th.
Because Terry's the 22nd. But you get to the point where you don't want to waste your time with people that suck you dry, because you're like, you know what, man, how many years do I have left? And I got a lot of complications, like most people do as they get older. Things happen with parents and whatever, and you just don't want to. you don't want to risk being even near that person, because it's gonna deplete. It's gonna rob your account. It's like it got hacked, because they're over there, but they hacked your account. Because you didn't want to be around that. You didn't volunteer to be with them, but you were like not lucky, and they were there, and they sucked something from you. And so that's kind of something that I don't want to do really anymore. I was prone to doing that a lot growing up, because that's what we were taught. Like you have to always.
You're just surrounded by people like that, so you didn't really know probably anything different for a while.
Yeah.
Until you start to meet other people, and other people are just like.
They're not like
and
that.
And then you're like, why? How can you be happy all the time like this? And it starts to rub off.
Yeah, I can't even believe it. The people that I have in my life now, they're nothing like my mom and dad, for instance. Like it's just, they're just real and different and dynamic and diverse, and they don't care, and they share, and they, pretense is nothing, and
they get it.
And
you don't have to explain your feelings to them. They just
get
understand,
just real. And it's hard for me to really admit that, but the more we get further away from Grandma's death and Grandpa's death now, it's like they weren't real. They weren't to the, they were, they had all these walls up, all these pretenses, all these image things, and that's what...
They were who they thought they were supposed to be, and not actually who they were.
Right. They really weren't.
One of my favorite things that I've discovered about people is that I'm allowed to, people will allow me to be sad.
Yeah.
And it just sounds like such a simple thing, but growing up, anytime you had any sort of emotion that wasn't I don't know, happy or whatever, you were kind of attacked, and it's I've learned that that's not the case, but it took a while to be okay with being sad, because actually being sad is a good thing, because you let it out and then you can move on to the next thing.
And
but if you don't let it out, it kind of just burrows inside of you and probably bursts out at inopportune moments and everything.
Terry used to always say, "You're entitled." Like, I'm in a really bad mood
sad
today, and I'm just in a bad mood today, and I just don't feel right. And he's, "Well, you're entitled." I'm like, "I am? I didn't think I was," because you can't do that, because that the image. A, B, if you're just like Ken, or if you're perceived to be just like Ken,
sadness, anger, frustration,
and
anything,
you get compared to him,
you're like Ken,
and then that person is a failure, meaning my mom. Like, I would just be literally looking down at the table. "Mary, why are you looking down?" I said, I'm just looking at the table. I'm thinking. "Are you depressed?" "No, I'm not depressed." "Well, why are you looking down?" "Well, I'm just thinking." "Oh no, is something wrong?" "No, Mom, no, nothing's wrong. Nothing's wrong. Just, I'm fine. Everything's good." "Well, why are you being kind of short with me right now?" "Because you're pushing me and whatever." And, then I'm going to the bathroom. "Don't walk away from me. I can't take it when people do it." And then she would be outside the bathroom door while I'm in the bathroom. "Mary, we need to talk about this." And it would blow up to the point where I would just scream, and then she would say, "See, you're just like Ken." "See, you have problems too, Mary."
God, stop bringing it back out.
Yeah.
No, honestly, and I understand it, because it's even if your problem, you might have had problems, but even if you did, they were not on the level that his were.
Never.
Never. He was severely mentally ill, and he needed a lot of help. And just because you have frustrations doesn't mean that you are also severely mentally ill, and you could maybe use help, but it's not the same. It's not the same same level at all.
And I feel like she justified Ken and her parenting by saying, "See, look, you both, because I was the one that was always speaking up about him and saying, help him, something's wrong, whatever. And then she could use that. Well, see, you have problems too, Mary, so it was really twisted. It was really sad. Mm-hmm. It really, I mean, I started my adult life with $1 million deficit in my emotional bank account.
But it's great now because you get deposits from other people and from yourself, so you're really double timing it.
I know. I'm really
stacking it back up again.
Man,
you earned it, and all the faces that you have to pay back.
Right.
And those are real connections versus when you're just brought right into like a happy-go-lucky. That's why suffering is such a huge tool and teacher about like how you should live your life, because you know what it's like to be rock bottom bad.
Yep. Hopefully, some people suffer and then they just get more bitter, and they don't try to
then
change.
They just didn't suffer enough, to be honest. You know what I mean? Like when you're
right.
Like you're not at rock bottom yet, you got to get lower.
Yep. When you're really faced with like immortality or you're not invincible in any way or the form. You're just on this ride. Like you have to.
You can kind of humble yourself down at that point.
Yeah, it's like
Yeah.
I'm worried about all this other shit that like it's not really anything to be worried about.
Yeah, you learn your priorities.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, again, this is supposed to be so happy, but I really think that's what my brother, your dad, needed, was a little bit more suffering in order to, change. Instead, he got coddled and bought out of everything. And I think he actually even craved the suffering because he created it. Mm-hmm. I really, as time goes on, I really feel worse for Ken than myself even sometimes. Isn't that kind of twisted? But meaning he was sick. He was sick long before any kind of abuse happened. And I would beg my parents, and they didn't, And so, poor guy. I always say he was handicapped. He didn't have legs, and he had no crutches. But go out there and walk. Mm-hmm.
He was just kind of thrown out when he had no idea how to be a functional person and had so much going against him as it was.
And the potential of what he could have been.
Oh, he could have been.
Oh, he could have been president.
Because if he put that much.
He was born in France, so technically he couldn't.
Oh, really?
He was. Yeah. I went to go visit the house that they lived in. Actually, when I went out there a couple years.
Yeah.
No, but he was bright. He was brilliant. He was handsome.
Think of it this
athletic.
way: how much energy and like shit he did to you guys, how much energy he put into that, and how good he was at doing that.
Yes.
Imagine if you put all that into something productive and that helped people.
He would have been an amazing attorney, a politician, whatever. And for the good.
And that's why it's sad to see.
That's what's sad.
Because you lost someone that potentially could have been an amazing person, but
we've always
just
talked
misguided.
About it. Yeah, like we were grieving not only him, because it was obviously so complicated, but we were grieving like the loss of hope with him, because we always kind of hoped that it would get better. Like I think every single one of us, was like, okay, he's gonna turn it around. He's gonna hit this rock bottom and make his way back up, but he kept going deeper and deeper and deeper, like where we thought would have been an obvious rock bottoms, he just kept going down. And it was really sad, because when he passed, there was just no more possibility of him getting better.
And it was really sad the way he passed. Christmas Day on the living room floor.
Yeah.
53. It's really sad. And so I wish that he would have gotten more help from anybody, I just, and people say, well, it was a different era or whatever, but I was 5 years old saying he needs help. Like, it's just human instinct.
Yeah.
There's something wrong. If this guy is bleeding out, okay, you're going to help him. Even 2 decades ago or 2 generations ago or whatever, but
there's no reason why you shouldn't ever be set up without the possibility of being happy. You know?
Exactly.
You should at least have the potential
Just
to be happy.
try something
yeah.
else, because
Yeah.
for decades it just kept going the
Yeah,
same way.
being sad and just depressed all your life, that's not
He was
a normal thing, because it's going to be a short-lived life. You
and
know?
then and it was, you know. So I mean, it's interesting, but I actually, you know, I really do feel like we let him down. Not me, but we, meaning society, parents, other people that were influential in his life. I think he was just begging for some kind of structure or some kind of boundaries or anything. You know, he was begging for it. He just, yeah. Now my bank account is depleted again.
But I think in a good way, like you invested it, you didn't spend it, you know? Like I feel like you're...
Whoa.
If we're gonna keep talking money, I feel like you talking about it and it's kind of like the being allowed to be sad thing. You're doing it so that it gets out, so that you can get better again later, making it an investment to make you better versus just spending it just to be sad. You know what I mean?
Okay. Yeah.
So I feel like we're
not blowing it.
I brought it around full circle.
Oh,
right?
you are
Yeah.
amazing.
That's good.
Does that do a deposit?
I feel good. Yeah,
Yeah, there you
that
go.
was. I feel emotionally wealthy.
I can tell.
You're right.
Yeah, you look rich.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I thought it was a good episode. I think.
Yeah, I mean that kind of came out naturally, but yeah, I think
Right.
about it on a regular basis, because the whole reason we're here is because of your dad. We wrote the book because of our connection and our experiences with your dad, and that morphed into this. So I feel like he mattered, and
Yeah. I agree.
yeah, so it's good to bring it up every now and then, because I think about him, especially selling Acorn Lane and going to be out of there in 10
Yeah,
days.
It's a big part of our history that's
Yeah,
ending.
and Steve is talking about it all the time, and he talks about Ken fondly. Yeah, so it's all in the forefront, but I have enough of a bank account. I'm okay. And
She's filling it up right now. Yeah.
Just patting that bank account a little bit.
just yeah.
Let's get it a little extra. Okay. On that note, I think
We can wrap it up.
you gotta drink your bank account pretty freely.
Okay.
So
Yes.
we're gonna wrap it up.
Thank you, Travis, for being part of this.
Yeah.
You're a really good conversationalist,
I appreciate
especially
it.
about things that matter.
I like talking with other people about this stuff.
Yeah.
It's
Versus.
hard to find people sometimes that talk about
Oh yeah.
just the real
Deep
shit.
stuff, yeah.
And I don't want to really go there. And then lighten back up again. That's what I like about my peeps, is that we go really deep and really whatever, but then in the same conversation we laugh.
Mhm.
And we do that a lot on the podcast, really serious topics, but it's a blend, and that's what makes it healthy.
Mhm.
Because we're accessible to the deep topic at any point, but we also haven't forgotten how to laugh just because we go there,
Mhm.
And that's a healthy person, I think. Cheers.
Cheers.
Oh.
Polka dot cups.
Our polka dot cups, yes.
All right. Thank you for watching, listening. Oh, he gets
You gotta
it.
do it right up by the mic when Mary's talking only.
Hello. Thank you for listening. And I'm so pretty, Mary Princess Reverend.
Oh, that was hard to do.
Princess Mary, Reverend Princess Mary, the pretty.
The pretty.
Hi.
That's her. Okay, yes. Thank
Okay.
you all for listening, watching.
Till next time.
We'll see you next time.